It was like a mismatch. It seemed like KKR had put up a B team in front of a strong Lucknow team.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to yet another episode of Straight Bat with Gulf News and Mr. Cricket UAE. Tonight we have assembled after the Super Saturday. With me, I have got Mr. Anis Sajan, the man himself, whom we call Mr. Cricket UAE, aka Satish, sports editor of Gulf News. We have got Anmol, the Punjab Kings fan, and myself, Gautam. We'll be discussing the day's games. I'll come to Anis Bhai first up. Anis Bhai, certainly one of the most one-sided matches, which kind of consolidates Lucknow Super Giants' position in the second spot in the table. Your thoughts, please.
Thank you, Gautam. Hi, Satish. Hi, Anmol. And hello to all the lovely people of Gulf News. Yes, it was like a mismatch. It seemed like KKR had put up a B team in front of a strong Lucknow team. And honestly, very, very disappointing to see the way Shreyas Iyer and the other guys played. And there was like, it seemed that they had not turned up, and Lucknow Super Giants looked like a super giant in front of Kolkata Knight Riders, who have been there in this tournament for ages. Very, very disappointed in Gautam.
Right. Yeah, I mean, another thing I would like to ask you at the same breath. I mean, what happened was not only was a one-sided match, but it from Lucknow Super Giants along with Gujarat, they seem to be tiding over those critical moments in the match when things are not going their way. When they were batting, it was that kind of a situation, stop-start. Then Stoinis took charge of that 1 week over from Mavi. And then when they put that 176, it looked tough, but nobody expected this kind of a capitulation, isn't it?
You're right. Like after losing Rahul without facing a ball, I felt KKR are up in it. But then you saw a good partnership between Deepik Hooda and Deacock, and then they set the platform. After that, there was a little bit of fumble, but then, as you mentioned, that Mavi over, I'm surprised. I believe he should have gone for 6 sixes the way he was bowling right in the slot. But he's a youngster. I am not sure when he's going to learn, but he's played enough cricket not to be bowling such rubbish bowling. But in the end, I would, blame the KKR management for having such a side, chopping, changing, and today they didn't have their main bowler, Umesh Yadav. And as I said, once again, I'll repeat, it looked like not a B, a C class team of KKR facing the Giants, Lucknow.
Right. Well, on that note, I'll come to Satish. Satish, this, when KKR knew, I mean, unlike their position vis-a-vis Lucknow was far different. They had to win this game if they had, if they had to have a semblance of a chance of doing what they did last year. But last year, the guy who played a significant role, Venkatesh Iyer, they have dropped. One of the few things they did right was possibly persist with Team Saudi instead of again falling back on Pat Cummins. But this chopping and changing certainly left them with. I mean, today they were never up for it, as Anis Bhai says that they never turned up for it. What do you feel?
Gautam, it's not just now. I think right from the start, if you look at of the three retained players, one was Venkatesh Iyer and the second one was Varun Chakravarti. Both have not been playing for the last few games. Then from there itself, they have gone wrong in their calculations. And ever since they have been playing, I think the management needs to really go for an overhaul, because you have not just chopping and changing, even the bowling changes, even the way they approach a game. When Russell is bowling very well, why do you have to give it to Mavi instead of finishing Russell's fourth over? That beats me, because when you have a person bowling well, and you could have restricted them, and it's not that Russell has gone off with an injury or something, why not give him the fourth over and finish it off instead of giving Mavi, who's considered some 30 runs, and that tilted the balance. And I think in that particular wicket, 10 teams have batted, or rather won the toss and elected to field. And I think 8 matches were lost while chasing. So these are some of the things that they need to take into consideration, and then use those figures and see. Because I think if you have to win a game, and you need to show that desperation to win. But I see that more than the desperation, the commitment, I would say, up to the point that they are so desperate to win. That was missing, completely lacking with Kolkata. If you look at Shreyas Iyer comes, he plays a couple of shots and goes off. Yes, Umesh Yadav was didn't play because of an injury. That's
He had a niggle.
that's
Yeah, he had a niggle.
that could happen anytime. But whatever you had, okay, they had a good start. You pull them back again, and then instead of having that finishing on a high, with that last 2 overs, they gave away they conceded the initiative back to Lucknow, who must have come back with the upper hand. And it's all mind game. You play psychologically. This would have certainly affected the batting when they came back. And again, if you're looking at 176 or chasing a big total,
Right.
you need to come back with a different plan.
But Satish, one thing I need to ask you, like on this kind of a wicket, you know that you're chasing a target. You know how much you're going to chase, and you also know that these guys are hitting the hard length. The ball is coming off the wicket at a trajectory. You need to play the waiting game rather than going for those cavalier shots. Baba Indrajit. Then I found Aaron Finch's approach quite perplexing. Apart from that one innings where he clicked. So, what do you make of that? Yes, sir. That's for you.
That's again like even there you could have made some changes. Maybe instead of sending Baba Prajit, you could have sent Sunil Narayan. Try your luck. Of course, it will be another chopping and changing because they have experimented so much. They don't know which is right and which is wrong. By the time they should have had a set team. But again, it's still not it's still worth trying if you're chasing a big total. And what they didn't expect is Lucknow had made their homework right, and they never gave Kolkata batters anywhere in the length ball also. Like even the good length ball where they were giving it short of length so that they have to play the back foot shots, which everybody was committing on the front foot and making the mistakes, including Shreyas Iyer. And that's where Russell found that out, and he was hitting every shot on the back foot, if you look at.
Right. I mean, I would go to the extent of saying that Shreyas is now I think they have done, the rivals have done their homework on Shreyas, and with this technique he could be in trouble. For all the reputation that he has built up, he could be in trouble on Australian wickets as well. Anyway, we'll come to that, but we have also got a fan in Anmol here. Anmol, a decent performance from Punjab Kings, but finally they had to go down. I mean, the damage was initially done by Yuzvendra Chahal in the afternoon game. I mean, when Punjab looked good for something in the region of 200, and then finally, they closed the match. They got today. Yashasvi was an unlikely hero for Rajasthan Royals. How do you sum up your team's performance, Anmol? Anmol?
Hello, sir. Hello.
Yeah. Hi.
First of all, sir, it was a good start by Johnny Bairstow. Yeah, Shikhar Dhawan got out unlikely, but after that, there was a middle order with Rajapaksha and Bairstow. They both played really well, and the finishing touches by Jitesh Sharma. He's exceptionally well as compared to the Shah Rukh Khan, what we brought for 9 crores, and we bought Jitesh Sharma for only 20. Sorry, price doesn't matter here, but the performance does. He has exceptionally, as decently give the finishing touches to the Punjab. But if we come to the bowling, I think the Rajasthan was one step ahead of the Punjab, because they knew that what Punjab Kings would be doing, and they would one step ahead, and they were gaining the momentum. After the wicket before the wicket of Jos Butler, he smashed Rabada, but actually the Rabada has the last laugh at that over. But after that, if we see on that the last 6 overs, 5 overs were of Arshdeep, a combined of 5 overs of Arshdeep and Rabada were there. But after that, 1 over of Rahul Chahar. They could have done a Rahul Chahar over before, and last 5 overs of Rabada and Arshdeep too. But that momentum, or that anything, what we say, that management couldn't get it, and that lost the match.
Right. Well, you see, I mean, you still got to play 3 matches. You're at 7 now. Your run rate is, you're 7th on the run rate. There are other teams on 10 points. But how much of a chance are you backing your team to win all these three, reach 16 points and see how it works? Do you think it's possible?
Yeah, it is possible because in this IPL nothing is impossible. Yeah, but if we have won it today, that would be a different scenario because if we have won the four in the four, that would be have 18 points. We would have 18 points, and we would this would be on the different level. But after that, we have lost the today's one. Three in the three games looks very difficult, but I say that 45% chances are there for the playoffs.
Right. I'll come to Anis Bhai on that score. Rajasthan have managed to buck the trend again, and they are sitting pretty in third place. Ideally, the way they had started, they should have been in second. What do you make of Rajasthan's performance from here onwards, Anis Bhai? I mean, you are full of praise about Chahal. Again he pulled it back for them. So, what do you feel about Rajasthan's chances? Moving on.
So when you look at their side, Mr. Gautam, their side looks like a complete package, where they have the best opener in Joss Butler. In Sanju Samson, they have a batsman who's got a lot of talent, unfortunately, flatters to deceive. And then if you talk about, they have a good finisher in Hetmeyer. So these three blokes are big players in their team. And when you talk about the bowlers, okay, Bolt has not been so phenomenal, but he's a decent bowler. And two best spinners in the world. And Prasidh Krishna is equally bowling well. So is Kuldeep Sen. So if you look at their composition of their side, it is good. I mean, on their day, they can beat anybody. They don't look like a weak side like we see like KKR, or I'm afraid about Punjab, where they are good on one side and bad on the other side. This is a complete package. And as much as I would, I like the Gujarats and the Lucknows, this is a team on a day on a turning track. They can beat the opposition on their day. And today again, they dominated the chase. They were chasing almost 10 runs per over. And I'm afraid I would call poor captainship of all. Like Punjab Kings were never able to defend that target. And when you give the last over of Rahul Char, who's been having a terrible tournament in this, to bowl to a bad left-hander who's in form, the first ball is whacked him out of the six, showed that what sort of management issues they're having, or the coaching coming from inside. I'm afraid Punjab has totally lost it on the field and off the field.
Again, to add to Anis Bhai's point, Jitesh Sharma, yes, he came good, but you have a Liam Livingston who is proven this year that he can come and take the game away. He comes after Jitesh Sharma, after Mayank Agarwal, everybody. There seems to be no thinking process going on now.
Brain loss.
Right. Yeah.
And again, coming back, and is why even Yashasvi, I think he's playing after 5-6 games. He was dropped and he's coming back after a long gap.
His innings saved the innings of Padikkal. Let's put it this way. His innings after Butler's loss kept on the momentum. Otherwise, they would have been in trouble. But you can't take it anything away from Rajasthan Royals. They dominated the game. Okay, in the bowling, they leaked a little extra 10-15 runs. But mind you, every team has been leaking, but they have a team. And I'm telling you, if they bat first, they put 170, 180, they are a team we can defend. And I hope Sanju Samson will win the toss and start batting first and not chasing.
I think he's not winning the toss. That's the biggest problem.
Anyway, Anis Bhai, I'll come to you. I mean, before we move on, of course, I will need your, if you can just run through about the competition once more that we are running and which has had quite an overwhelming response. I mean, it's a different issue that a lot of them are getting it wrong, but yeah.
So am I. To be very honest,
all of
I
us.
backed Punjab after they scored 190. I said, for sure they're going to defend this because it's a day game. I had expected the bowlers to come into play, but I got it wrong. But if you get it right, you are going to win an apparel kit, which is a track t-shirt and a cap and a year's digital subscription of Golf News. So make sure to log on to your favorite page, Golf News.
Right. Before we get on to the predictions, I will quickly pick Satish's brain. See, now we are at the business end of the tournament. We are I think we are looking at the top two, possibly top three, and with the fourth place, a little bit of ifs and buts there. So, Satish, who could be your fourth team, and what look is that final four going to take? Can you quickly take us through that?
Lucknow has gone into the number one slot, Gautam, and they have a very, very healthy run rate of 0.7, which is quite high. Probably the next one, Gujarat Titans, have 0.12. So that shows what kind of a position they are in. So Lucknow and Gujarat are, I think, even the best teams. I'm talking about, even if you look at even Chennai, if they win all 4 games, they will probably come to 14 points. So I think the fourth, I would say at this point in time, Bangalore looks the easiest because they are on 12 points. And I think Rajasthan, Bangalore, the order which is right now there should go, but IPL doesn't happen that way. We might even see somebody like Kolkata Knight Riders sneaking in the last minute. Or
no way. Kolkata Knight Riders will come probably last or second last now. I figure,
or Punjab with
Punjab still has a chance. You never know with Punjab. But KKR, no way.
No, but Anis bhai, Punjab, all 3 games they have to win at least a minimum of 2. But
You need to
in
win
that
3.
sense, no, like in that sense, the others also should lose. Like Royals or somebody has to lose all their games because Bangalore has got 3 games. So if they win 3, or even if they win 2, they become 16 points. So it's going to be difficult for Punjab as well, because if they win 3, they will go to 16. But on the same token, if Bangalore wins 2, they go to 16.
Yeah.
So so at this point in time,
I think you are looking at, from what I gather from you, you are possibly looking at a Rajasthan versus RCB for the eliminator as of now. But then surprises that IPL always holds a series of surprises.
Because see, if you look at Delhi or Sunrisers, they have played only 10 games. Then that means they have 4 games in hand. They are on 10 points.
Right.
So even if they win 3, they will get to 16. So it's a very tricky situation. After a couple of losses, Sunrisers could also bounce back because they have the bowling strength. And
three losses they have had. That's a bit worrying for them. The thing is, I'll I will also ask you about tomorrow, because what's happening is tomorrow the day game is between Sunrisers and Royal Challengers Bangalore, and the second one is of course Chennai Super Kings versus Delhi Capitals. So I think the Sunrisers game obviously holds more significance, at least on paper. So how do you look at these 2 matches, Satish?
I still will go with Bangalore, because they have been firing on and off, but they look a better team on paper. But though in this IPL, the better team on paper has not won it more often than not. That's a different issue. But I would bank on Bangalore to come good against Sunrisers, because now Sunrisers' confidence is shattered. Their bowling has been shredded to pieces. They have been banking too much on Umran Malik. I think if they again do play the way the other 2 teams have played in the last 3 games, other 2 or 3 teams, whoever they're beaten, if they take a leaf out of that, I would go with Bangalore. And with Kohli coming good with some form, he can be a very dangerous customer, because the faster you bowl, the faster he can hit also.
And what about Chennai? I mean, I know that the stakes are not that much, but then they have got 3 wins under their belt. So do you want to see any experiments on the Chennai side on that note? I mean, which can give them some pointers for the next season?
Already they have done it.
This set will remain.
Already they have done it. I think Mukesh Chowdhury has been one of the find of the season. I think the other
Mukesh had been there. Mukesh had been, willy-nilly. Mukesh had been, operating in the power play and had been one of the main bowlers because of that injury of Chahar. But anybody else whom would you like to see in these next 3 games?
Maybe instead of Robin Uthappa, if there are any extras remaining. And I have not seen this under-19 player. I think he was an all-rounder who did well for India under-19. He has not been playing any games. So I would like to probably see him, how he does. But again, Chennai, they know when to push them to the bigger league. And then based on that, they will take a call. So it's too early for them also, because again, like with 4 matches, if they win all 4, they could come to 14 points also. So it will be
They'd
too
like
much
to
of
go
a risk.
full strength. Full
Yeah,
strength,
it might be too much of a risk
Unlike
to
Bombay.
take that chance at this point of time. Maybe the
Right.
last couple of days, if there's no chance at all,
Right.
then they might take it. But tomorrow's match, they
Right.
will play full strength.
Right. I get your point. Anis bhai, your predictions on tomorrow's 2 games?
I'll back RCB to win the first game, and the second game I'll back Delhi.
Delhi, yeah. Okay, Anmol, I'll come to you quickly. Anmol, your take tomorrow: SRH versus RCB and DC versus Chennai CSK.
Yeah, in the first match, I will always I will back RCB, because RCB is my second favorite team after Punjab, and keeping aside the personal issues, and because if RCB wins if RCB wins tomorrow, I think they have to lose against the Punjab, which is their next match with.
Okay.
And my second take would always be CSK, because if CSK wins, DC is again losing, and after the RCB match, we are
He is
facing
looking at it from
DC,
Punjab perspective.
No. I mean, see, all the fans are now looking at from that perspective only, which is very interesting, actually.
Correct.
That's the way it should be. See,
Correct.
that's the way it should be, right? Yeah. I think if you ask me, yes, there's a fair share of reasons why we can support, or we can think that it could be RCB in the day game, and in the second game I would put my money on Delhi at this point, and let's see how it goes. So thanks to all of you for joining the show. Tomorrow after the game, I think we'll have the fans back in, and good night.